I'm Dan Jourdan, the Sales Energizer. People call me The Deej. And I have two shows. One, the Sales Energizer podcast, and the other one is Dan Jourdan Live. And you should watch it. There's always a reason to get the word out, and the best way to get the word out I found is with video and with podcasts. And that's when DJ Live was born. And we've been doing it for 4 years now. And it is by far the best thing I have ever done to increase brand, clientele, and profit. When I first started, I wanted to be a star. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be on stage and say my stuff. And it very quickly changed to try to make the person that I'm interviewing the star. And I get 10 times more satisfaction from that. And at the beginning, we got a lot of, we got some buzz, we got some comments, we're getting in and out, and we really didn't know where we were gonna land up until it got comfortable. And one day it just got comfortable. And it wasn't about finding more fans, it wasn't about growing the whole, the brand and the name and all that. It became, how can I help the guests do what they need to do? And so as the guest came in, we would ask the questions that would get them talking. And then when the person that I'm interviewing gets that full screen of themselves, it's perfect marketing material for them. My prospects and clients are so appreciative to be on the show that it lasts our entire relationship. Chris Stone does such a good job in preparing the whole show. A lot of times I will show up 2 minutes ahead of time. The guest will already be there, and I'm just showing up and just doing my stuff. And so the show I like to do, we get personal. And so the stories that I have, sometimes you meet people that are going through crisis. Similarly to a proper discovery sales call, people are willing to open up. You kind of forget that there's an audience watching, that you're trying to sell or promote yourself or anything. You have to find your way back. It's kind of doing this podcast has made me a better person, made me a better salesperson, because when it's live, everything goes wrong. And sometimes you got to stretch, and sometimes you got to fill. There was a time that I forgot to plug in my computer. I'm using the computer. I forgot to plug in it ran out of batteries. And so it just shut off. I'm talking and it just shut off. And Chris Stone somehow, I'm like, how do I get back on? I figure I'll just go back on. I plug the thing in, it takes a couple minutes. I get back on, the show's still going on, like I'm not skipping a beat. I'm thinking, this is great. I became the guest. We have a situation almost every time when we do a show that the person that we're interviewing, after it's all said and done, says, that was the most fun and best produced podcast I've ever been on. And we've had some big names on there, and they all have said that. That's my greatest feeling about this podcast, is what it's done. I talked to somebody this week, James Say What Sales. I spoke with him this week. I haven't spoken to him since the podcast, which was years ago. And it was like he was an old high school buddy that we were meeting, getting back together. It was like best friends. That happens from this podcast. It's such a gift that you're giving them that they remember it forever. One of the added benefits of having some sort of podcast is that you're constantly creating content, and it's always fresh content. And so if you pressure yourself to do these regularly, you pressure yourself to do it every week, and because of that, you're always fresh, you're always cutting edge, you're always on top of things. And so no matter how old I get, if I continue to do this stuff, I'm still at the front of the line. And there is nothing better than somebody discovering you somehow and then looking you up and finding dozens and hundreds of videos and things in the past, and you gain immediate credibility. And I think that's probably the number one thing that I've gotten from doing a podcast consistently is credibility, probably more than I deserve.